And continuing coverage on this derailment, now to a story you'll only see on Fox 61. Among the dozens of first responders to be called to yesterday's train derailment in Mansfield were crews with the UConn Fire Department. The store's campus is just one of a handful of universities across the country to host its own professionally staffed department. Fox 61's Aaron Coogan spoke exclusively with the unit's chief and shares UConn's role in the massive response.
Well, guys, it was an all-hands-on-deck effort across the board, and it's public safety emergencies like this that UConn Fire Chief Chris Renshaw says his department is ready and prepped for.
We responded a little after 9. I left the scene just before 1 o'clock last night, and then was back on duty this morning at 0600.
Like so many first responders, it was no rest for UConn Fire Chief Chris Renshaw following the deployment of 11 campus crew members to the early morning train derailment in Mansfield.
A unique circumstance on our behalf. Our monthly senior leadership meeting where all the captains come in happened to be yesterday morning, so it was all hands on deck with more staff than we would normally be able to contribute.
The UConn Firehouse just 2 miles from where 13 train cars uncoupled on tracks along Stafford Road. 10 cars derailed, some of which toppled into the Willimantic River. The greatest concerns being treacherous conditions just to get to the track,
A remote access through a cornfield that wasn't plowed,
and the imminent risk of a serious chemical spill, considering 6 of the derailed cars were carrying liquefied propane gas.
There was no plume or anything visual to suggest that there's an escaping vapor or gas, but that's not always the case. Sometimes we don't get the luxury of seeing those things when there is a leak. The cars tipped over in the water could mean that there is a leaking component that is in the waterway and under the ice and invisible to us.
And while an extraordinary incident to respond to, he admits it's all part of the job, debunking any confusion that UConn public safety crews are solely utilized on campus.
The University of Connecticut Fire Department is uniquely positioned where all of our firefighters are trained at the hazardous materials technician level of certification and qualification. That means every firefighter knows what to do at the highest level of education for hazardous material response. Given that UConn has nearly 1,000 laboratories, we get a lot of experience with that, and we're happy to apply that out into the real world to support our mutual aid companies.
Meanwhile, Chief Renshaw says there are still UConn crews at the scene assisting where needed, and the rest of the department is on call provided anything changes. In stores, Aaron Coogan, Fox 61.